The flooding we told you about yesterday morning can now be called deadly, and even more rain is coming.
When it's expected to fall and what's happening this morning is the hardest hit towns. It's coming up. KSPR News this morning starts right now.
ABC for the Ozarks, covering our community. This is KSPR News this morning.
Thanks for waking up with us on this Wednesday morning. I'm Adam Hoopler.
And I'm Lauren Motter. We are glad you could join us today, and welcome back, Adam.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yes.
What a nice welcome back. A lot
I know.
of rain, a lot of
so
flooding.
much rain. More rain is coming, and a lot of the areas that are already flooded, it's going to get more rain as well.
Again.
So let's go straight to Lindsay. What's the latest out there, Lindsay?
Okay, so we talked about the heavy rain yesterday impacting areas to the north, but I'm already tracking some pretty heavy storms that are happening in Springfield right now. So I'm going to start there and kind of work my way up to the north, because clearly we're still talking heavy rain in the areas that were hit very hard yesterday. And we're talking on the order of additional 1 to 2 inches here. So noticing in and around Springfield, just near Willard right now, we're just talking some heavy showers and thunderstorms. Now at this point in time, really just looking at these below severe limits. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. This will continue until 9 a.m. But basically at this point in time, I'm just really watching these for further development. There's a ton of lightning out there. Winds are pretty gusty, but again, below those severe limits. They're taking their time rolling through, so we are watching for that flooding threat. And again, our flash flood watch, I told you this is going to happen. It got extended until Friday now, so that would make it an entire week under a flash flood watch. Looking at a particular cell right now near Brookline, that's pushing its way over off toward the east. Also Bodark and Willard, Fellows Lake, areas right along Highway 44. So as you're heading off to work, keep this in mind. These storms are moving rather slowly, and again, we could be talking about a pretty significant flooding threat. Again, here's a look at some of the tracks on these going over toward the Fremont Hills area, Sequiota, Lake Springfield, Langston, and also Galloway in the next 10 to 20 minutes or so. As far as that heavy rain that's over off toward our north, I'm just going to kind of show you a little bit of that right now. Actually, first I'll show you this latest track right here on this particular cell going near Rogersville, but also again that particular storm over off towards our north that's showing us big bands of heavy rain happening right now, and we're talking about flash flood emergencies toward the north. I'll have more details about this coming up. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lindsay. Team coverage of extreme flooding in the Ozarks continues this morning. Waynesville was certainly not in the clear overnight.
Devastating rains flooded the area late Monday night and early Tuesday morning. Hundreds had to get out of the way. A little boy was found dead, and his mother is still missing, and the worst may not be over. KSPR's Joanna Small has been in Waynesville since yesterday. She joins us live this morning with details on what's happening now. Joanna?
You know, obviously the rain is coming down really hard right now. We've been dealing with this since about 3:30, but it suddenly picked up, and you can even see that it's cooling in this parking lot here at the St. Robert Community Center. So things are starting to get really serious again. It became very humid overnight, Lauren and Adam, and this is really what emergency officials were expecting. They were listening to Lindsay Slater and to the other KSPR meteorologists. They were praying that it would not begin raining like this. Obviously, unfortunately, their prayers were not answered. The shelter in St. Robert is where many came when mandatory evacuations were implemented yesterday afternoon. They came from places like this trailer park along the banks of the Ruby-Doo Creek. It flowed into the park early Tuesday morning and threatened to do the same overnight last night. So police urged people like Brian and Barb Campbell to leave.
Keep in mind, too, that it's not just the water, it's everything that the water brings with it. I mean, we've got LP tanks out there that are cooking off. We've got all types of materials that are floating down through there. Vehicles, everything you can imagine possible is coming down at a quick rate.
That's very scary for the people who live near and now unfortunately in the creek. The Campbell Sky Yard was empty on Monday, but by Tuesday it was full of all kinds of debris. They headed to this shelter last night run by the American Red Cross. They are hoping that they'll be able to return home by 5 o'clock this evening, but of course that all depends on the rain, and of course that they're hoping that their home and everything in it is still there. They were only able to take 3 bags with them, so all of their electronics, even some important documents, and their groceries had to stay. Adam?
Joanna, thanks. The Ruby-Doo Creek has so much debris on shore, and in so many culverts, emergency officials are bringing in backhoes to dig through it all.
The search for the missing woman is set to continue today at daybreak. Divers with the Missouri Highway Patrol will go out as soon as it gets a bit lighter outside. We still don't know the woman's name. We do know she's the mother of the 4-year-old boy who was found dead yesterday. Her car was swept away by floodwaters. We have no idea how far this woman may have traveled in the rushing waters. Happening now just east of Waynesville.
Authorities are making people leave their homes in the town of Newburgh. That's just 15 minutes west of Rolla. The National Weather Service says the area near downtown Newburgh is being evacuated right now.
We are hearing reports of flash flooding in Rolla, too. Spotters are saying that several streets there are flooded with a foot or more of water. A bridge is flooded there as well. And we have our website up right now. You can keep up with the latest news, pictures, and video of the flooding right here on KSPR.com. We have links to the National Weather Service's webpage, and you can check out road conditions from MoDOT. Very important to do today before you head out the door. Also, if you don't have our KSPR weather or news app, you'll find download instructions there. All this information, it's on KSPR.com. You can't miss our special flood section right on our homepage.
Crews from the Springfield-Greene County Office of Emergency Management are in Waynesville this morning. They'll be part of a support team in the relief and recovery efforts there. Teams will help crews with planning and operations in Pulaski County. And a brand new this morning, the Springfield-Greene County Office of Emergency Management shared this picture overnight. It's from the office's Facebook page. You can see crews meeting in the Pulaski County Emergency Ops Center. Greene County emergency officials say the area needs extra help.
They're in such high stress mode of responding to the incident and doing the reactive component, and it's really helpful for teams like this to come in to bring in that extra personnel.
Missouri Governor Jay Nixon declared a state of emergency for that area. He'll be making an appearance this morning.
In other news this morning, a few changes will be happening in towns around the Ozarks. Yesterday was election day for 7 counties. A fire tax in Sunrise Beach passed, and a school bond issue failed in El Dorado Springs. For full election results from yesterday's vote, you can click on the August elections link. It's at the top of KSPR.com.
Brand new overnight, a massive fire is burning at East Africa's largest airport. You can see the huge flames in this video from Nairobi, Kenya. The airport is closed. That will affect flights throughout the region. No one is hurt. We don't know yet what caused the fire.
Also brand new this morning, the U.S. Justice Department has filed the first criminal charges in last year's attack at the diplomatic mission in Benghazi, Libya. 4 Americans were killed in the September 2012 attack. Officials haven't released much information about the charges. The complaint is sealed, and we don't know how many people are listed. An official has confirmed that one person charged is the head of a Libya militia.
President Barack Obama hit on some serious topics when he visited NBC's The Tonight Show.
Please welcome my first guest, actually my only guest, the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama.
President Obama told Jay Leno that Americans should go ahead with their summer travel plans abroad. That's despite global travel warnings. U.S. missions in 16 countries are closed to the public because of the latest security threat from al-Qaeda. The president did say travelers should, quote, use some common sense and recognize that some countries are more dangerous than others.
President Obama also talked to Leno about this guy, Edward Snowden. These were the president's first comments about Snowden since the former U.S. government contractor was granted temporary asylum in Russia. Snowden is wanted in the U.S. after he leaked government secrets. The president said last night that he's disappointed with Russia's decision to protect Snowden. Obama said that the move shows the challenges he faces in dealing with Moscow. Testimony continues today in the trial of former Army psychiatrist Major Nidal Hasan. These are some sketches from yesterday's opening statements. Hasan is charged with killing 13 fellow soldiers in a 2009 attack at Fort Hood, Texas. Yesterday, Hasan told the court, quote, the evidence will clearly show that I am the shooter. He's representing himself. Hasan faces the death penalty if convicted. Well, many people are coming down with Powerball fever once again.
That's right. That pot has ballooned to a whopping $400 million. Wow. What would you do with that? That's the third highest amount ever. And the next drawing is tonight. If you happen to win, the $400 million jackpot is equal to $230 million. That's if you choose the cash payout. To get the jackpot, the winner has to match every one of the 6 numbers selected randomly by the lottery system. All that's really left to do is say good luck.
I actually saw this morning that there is a ticket on a refrigerator that my husband bought last night. I didn't even know he was going to.
So you're set.
I guess so. I guess I already have the winning ticket. So sorry, folks.
You were really one of my favorite people when I got here.
Yeah,
from the very
right.
beginning.
Yeah, right.
My favorite person. Did you get a ticket? Oh, well then, we'll talk later. All right, it's 5:09. Roads are closed and stress is high.
It's very high. Stay tuned to find out which major road was closed near Fort Leonard Wood, military's base, during yesterday's floods. But first, Lindsay Slater has a preview of our forecast.
Thanks, guys. And we have several watches and warnings currently in effect right now. Numerous flash flood warnings across the area, including areas in Marys County, Morgan County. This also includes Camden and Pulaski counties under flash flood warnings right now. The pink there, those are severe thunderstorm watches. This does include Greene County until 9 a.m. As far as what's happening right now in Springfield, the rain is starting to come down pretty good here. 72 degrees and winds gusting out of the northwest, 20 miles an hour. Here's the latest look at the satellite and radar. And coming up, I'll have a look at your full forecast, including when this rain hopefully will end and how much more is expected to fall. That's coming up in a few minutes.
You're watching KSPR News this morning with Lauren Motter, Adam Hooper, and meteorologist Lindsay Slater. KSPR, covering our community.
Welcome back. It is 5:13. Officials at Fort Leonard Wood are on high alert this morning.
Many roads at the base flooded yesterday. Water from the Rubidoux Creek is covering some of the roads on and around the post. That's the same creek that's causing all those problems in Waynesville. It runs through the fort too. The creek is the highest it's ever been. At one point yesterday morning, I-44 near the post was closed in both directions. The road is back open this morning.
Look at that water.
It's running heavy. Officials are still waiting to see where more rain is expected and waiting to see what closures are going to come at Fort Leonard Wood.
And more rain, that is two words many in the Ozarks don't want to hear right now. And you can actually hear the rain, at least here in Springfield. Meteorologist Lindsay Slater joins us now. And Lindsay, are we going to get a break from the wet weather today?
I can give you a positive answer. No, not at all. Here's a look at what's happening on the Springfield camera. The rain is starting to come down. The lightning, I'm telling you, there is so much of that lightning happening right now. And again, this is just our live Springfield camera at the moment. I do expect us to continue to see this kind of activity for the next few hours. Here's a look right now at the latest watches and warnings that are currently in effect. And basically right now, folks, we have the pinks, that is our severe thunderstorm watches. We also have the greens, those are flash flood watches. In fact, our flash flood watch that actually continues all the way until Friday morning. So real quick here, I kind of want to just highlight a few things on our HD radar. You can see right now I'm looking at a few of those storms over off toward the north. Right now you can see near Lebanon and Camden County, very heavy rain happening right now along Highway 5 and a couple of tracks. This stuff is just moving around 20 miles an hour. That is extremely slow for storms, which is why the flash flooding threat is so high. Twin Bridges, 21 minutes you have until you'll be impacted by some of this heavy rain. Lebanon getting pounded right now all along Highway 44, Stoutland, Richland. You can even see near Raider and Conway. These are some of the same locations, folks, that were hit very hard over the past few days. And then there you go, in and around Springfield, looking at some very heavy rain happening right now. This stuff is moving over toward the southeast at about 30 miles an hour, impacting areas near Sequiota, Turners, Galloway within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So I do want to show you what is driving all of this weather. What's happening out there? Why all of a sudden are we just in this wet trend? Because wasn't it just a few weeks ago that we were talking about drought situations? Well, what's happening is we're just getting one weather system after the other. A lot of that is attributed to the jet stream. And you can see we have a cold front right here. That's not what's causing this right now. This is actually an area of low pressure, a little boundary ahead of this cold front. We still have to get through the cold front. That's what I'm expecting tomorrow. So basically that kind of shows you that more rain is going to be on the way. Here's a look at my regional futurecast model. And I'm telling you right now, some of my weather models really are not picking up on this activity very well. You can even see here, it doesn't even show the stuff that's happening at the moment, but I do expect more heavy rain to come in out of Kansas. That's just what's been happening. It's almost like a conveyor belt of energy consistently pushing all of this energy into the area. I do expect us to see more of that heavy rain, and unfortunately, areas to the north really going to be impacted the most by this. And again, this is a bad situation, just considering the fact these are the areas that have been hit very hard. Noticing what happens to that cold front, turns stationary, meaning it's not moving anywhere. That's why I do expect us to see consistent rain chances. This is a model here that shows me it's a little bit more consistent with what's happening right now. We'll see this heavy rain roll through. We'll get a break, and then round 2 is going to be happening overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. It's almost like deja vu almost each and every day. And this is why our flash flood watch has been extended all the way into Friday morning. That is an entire week under a flash flood watch, by the way. Over the next 7 days, we could see 4 to 5 inches. Areas near Nevada, Osceola, near Rolla, 2 to 3 inches possible in Springfield over the next 7 days. Threat track this morning is definitely to the north with gusty winds and some large hail and significant risk of flooding later this afternoon. Just a 2. Kind of the same thing, though. Our severe thunderstorm watch continues until 9 a.m. So, guys, the rain is just not letting up at all. And it's really unfortunate because we've seen it for days and days on end. There's just no letting up, and there's no time for the ground to recover. And that's what's really hard here. And the thing about the streams and creeks and rivers, there's always a delay with that.
Yeah,
so even after the rain's done, it's going to continue to flood. So we're going to keep you guys posted on all the latest on that.
Yep,
Lots to report on this.
Get the KSPR News and Weather app as soon as you can, especially if you're in the areas that are flooded. It's like northeast of Springfield this morning. Thanks, Lindsay.
This former president, he's recovering.
Stay tuned for the reason he's in a Texas hospital and when he gets to go home. It is 5:17. KSPR News returns in 2 minutes.
Welcome back. It's 5:19. Former President George W. Bush is expected to leave a Dallas hospital today. The former commander-in-chief had a stent inserted to an open clog near his heart. Doctors found the blockage during Bush's annual physical. A spokesperson says Bush is in high spirits. He's expected to go back to his normal schedule tomorrow.
This is a KSPR Storm Mode Alert.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Lindsay Slater. Glad to have you with us today. It is 5:20, and I kind of want to go over some flood safety tips just because we are talking about some significant flash flooding. So if you aren't looking at your screen, do so now. Check out some of these tips here that I'm going to be talking about. Make sure that you're not driving around barricades. A lot of those barricades are set up for your safety, so make sure you're not driving around those. Don't walk through moving water. 6 inches of moving water can actually knock you down. 2 feet of moving water can float a car and carry it away. Don't camp or park your vehicle along streams, rivers, or creeks, particularly during thunderstorms, and clearly we're seeing a lot of that activity now. Always, before flooding occurs, be aware of flood-prone areas if you live along routes that you drive on. Also, keep a NOAA weather radio in good working order, including fresh batteries. And one important thing that I know Lauren and I have been talking about all week long, make sure that you always have a plan in the event that we do see flooding happening, and we're seeing so much of it right now. The town of Newburgh is under flash flood emergencies. That's been happening since about 2 to 3 o'clock early this morning, so it's an ongoing threat right now. One big thing, we've been talking about it, just turn around and don't drown. And coming up, I'll have the latest looks at your radar updates, plus more about our severe thunderstorm watch that's coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Coming up today in the Ozarks, a Howell County woman charged in the death of her infant daughter is expected to be in court today. Prosecutors charged this woman, Bobby Derryberry, with assault, abuse, and endangering the welfare of a child. They say her 5-month-old daughter had bruises, a crushed nose, a fractured skull, and broken ribs. Investigators say Derryberry admitted to dropping the child on the floor because she wouldn't stop crying. Police found the child dead this past June.
The Ozarks man accused of killing his son is expected to hear the charges against him today. Howard Ingram Sr. of Duggansville is charged with murder in the May shooting. Investigators say Ingram Sr. shot his son Howard Ingram Jr. in the head. He was rushed to a Springfield hospital where he died from his injuries. A $1 million lawsuit.
The reason Branson's airport is suing contractors who worked on the runway is coming up. It's 5:22 KSPR this morning. We'll be right back. Branson airport officials have filed a lawsuit against several Missouri contractors.
The airport is claiming the contractors didn't build the runways properly. Burns & McDonnell was hired to build the foundation for the airport and its runways. But in 2011, a part of the foundation under the runway collapsed.
Now that you have the backstory, let's take a look at the numbers. The company and others named in the lawsuit were paid $70 million for the project. Airport officials say they've spent nearly $1 million in repairs since it opened in 2009, and they say fixing the problems will cost millions more.
This is a KSPR Storm Mode Update.
It is now 5:25, and we're currently under some severe thunderstorm watches this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the latest look at the HD radar. Our severe thunderstorm watch is basically in effect for areas you see in the pinks. I'm going to pop that up there. There you go. That severe thunderstorm watch includes Benton, Morgan, Miller, Phelps, Pulaski, Greene counties. This continues until 9 a.m. This is a look at the HD radar, seeing some very, very intense rain happening right now just to the east of Conway, north of Hartville. So Hartville, you're going to see this big area of rain in your neck of the woods fairly soon. Unfortunately, these storms aren't moving very fast, so it's going to be a lot of rain, a lot of heavy rain, and it will be very consistent. So Grovesburg, about 8 to 10 minutes, you're going to see this big area of heavy rain. The reds and the deep oranges indicating that very intense rainfall on the order of even an inch or even 2 inches per hour is what we've been seeing and reporting. The entire county of Camden County is basically covered with this heavy rain right now near Lebanon. Now these cells are pushing their way to the southeast as well, very slowly, 20 to 30 miles an hour. So Twin Bridges will be impacted, Lebanon clearly being impacted by these storms, and also Fort Leonard Wood and Waynesville, areas that have been hit hard over the past few days. Here's one thing you need to look out for. See all this rain that's happening to the north? That is heading in your direction. So the rain you're seeing now is going to continue, and I can't stress that enough. We already have flash flood watches and warnings and flash flood emergencies happening to the north here. This is moving in your direction. So areas that are currently flooding, unfortunately, are going to continue to flood. So this is an ongoing situation, and we'll keep you posted on the very latest. Guys, back to you.
Lindsay, thanks. Homes flooded and possessions lost. We'll show you how one Pulaski County family is coping in about 6 minutes.
But first, ABC's Diana Perez has stock market updates in today's America's Money.
Good morning. Topping America's Money, it's shaping up to be another nervous day on Wall Street. Stocks fell for the second straight day on fears that the Federal Reserve could begin pulling back on its massive infusion of cash that's been so popular with traders. And the feds are going after Bank of America. The Justice Department is suing B of A for allegedly lying to investors about the risks of the toxic loans that led to the housing collapse. A bank spokesman said investors had ample access to the underlying data. And we're keeping our cars and trucks longer than ever. The average age is now nearly 11 and a half years old, 2 full years older than the average age in 2007. Despite this, new car sales are surging. And Taco Bell's Waffle Taco has been selling like hotcakes during a test run in Southern California. So the chain has announced that it'll be sold at 100 more Taco Bells in Fresno, Omaha, and Chattanooga. That's America's Money. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Diana Perez.
Welcome back. It's 5:31. I'm Adam Hooper.
And I'm Lauren Motter. Happy Wednesday to you. We have your flooding coverage here this morning, team coverage from Waynesville. But first, we do want to start talking about around here because we're seeing some rain in the Springfield metro area.
Just a second ago, and it's pouring down right now.
It is. Our Republic camera right now, you can see it's kind of still dark. We did see some lightning just a second ago. So take it easy this morning. We'll let you know if there's any flooding locally around here as well. But the big area now, Lindsay, is just still northeast of Springfield. They're still seeing a lot of rain out there.
Yes, exactly. And right now, I just got a report in from the National Weather Service. Flash flood emergencies now ongoing in eastern Miller, western Marys, and into western Phelps counties right now. So just wanted to give you guys that information right off the bat here. Again, that's directly from the National Weather Service. Here's a look at some of that heavy rain in those areas I just mentioned. We have flash flood watches. Clearly, those continue actually until Friday morning. These have been extended almost every day so far this week, and honestly, I do expect this to continue as we get into the weekend. Here's a look at some of that very intense rain, and here's the worst part about it is that, see this big blob of red? I know that's, kind of a non-technical term here, but this is the best way I can explain it for you. Big blob of red, that is very, very intense rainfall on the order of even an inch to 2 inches per hour happening right now. This is just north of Camdenton. This is the direction it is moving. And the reason why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this is because these areas are already under flash flood emergencies, and this heavy rain is moving in your direction. I'm talking to you Waynesville and Fort Leonard Wood, areas near Newburgh, and also in portions also near Lebanon. They've already seen some very intense rainfall this morning, and this is going to continue. And here's the worst part about it. This is what makes it so much worse, is that these storms are moving slow. If they were moving fast and getting out of here, we wouldn't nearly have as big of a flooding threat. But unfortunately, these storms are moving so incredibly slow that a flooding threat is not only imminent, but it's going to be ongoing. So again, storms moving to the southeast between 20 and 30 miles an hour, going near Richland and Crocker in the next 20 to 25 minutes. Also looking at a cell that just passed through Camdenton along Highway 5. That's going to be heading near Stoutland and Richland in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So So before you head off to work this morning, go check out the MoDOT maps. You can go online and check that out, or even go to one of the apps that they have and make sure that the roads that you're going to take are not flooded or even getting very close to being flooded, because there are numerous ones right now that are having issues with flooding. So I'll keep an eye on everything over here. I'll keep an eye on the National Weather Service chats and give you guys the latest information. Back to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Our team coverage continues as the flood in Pulaski County has forced dozens of people out of their homes.
Some because of the floodwaters, others because of a mandatory evacuation. Waynesville city officials put it into place last night for several neighborhoods. KSPR's Melody Pettit joins us now live at the emergency shelter that's set up at nearby St. Robert. And Melody, officials were expecting more rain and more flooding overnight. So what's happening out there right now?
Yeah, guys, it is. We just heard a loud clap of thunder. It's raining really heavily and steadily. It has been for the past 2 hours. And actually, I'm inside the St. Robert Emergency Shelter. If you'll notice, I'm talking sort of low. There are people here still sleeping who are either forced out of their homes from the flooding or, like you said before, that emergency mandatory evacuations. I don't want to wake these people up. We can't show you where they're sleeping or their faces or anything. So let me show you what's been happening in the meantime. People have donated all of this stuff you see behind me, like this teddy bear, toys for the kids, people who come in and need it, even these blankets right here. There's mountains of stuff right behind me, people donating when they hear that there are people in need. I actually talked to a family here yesterday who were here. Let's go to that video right now. We'll show you. There was so much water in Nicole Pasking's house. Her and her 7 kids had to be rescued by boats on Tuesday. They came to this shelter where they found a change of clothes and food. Red Cross volunteers say items came pouring in from around the community. While the Pasking's immediate needs were taken care of, Nicole says she doesn't know what to do now.
Well, we're worried about how they're going to react to the situation, how the baby's going to react, and how basically we're going to take and survive from now until, we can get a place.
More rain, more flooding on already saturated grounds. That can only mean more people being evacuated. We haven't heard anything officially capacity yet, but you can only imagine what can happen here. More people coming into this shelter right here that we're at right now. Now, the mayor of Waynesville has been on Facebook saying that yesterday was a sad and long day for everybody involved, but he wanted to thank all the volunteers who spent countless hours out here. And, of course, as you guys mentioned earlier in the show, Missouri Governor Jay Nixon is expected to arrive this morning to survey all the damage. Back to you.
All right, Melody, thank you for that live report. City officials say residents who have left their homes can return to them at 5 o'clock tonight.
Here's a look at Waynesville from the sky. This is video from yesterday afternoon. You can see that the water covered the area. More than 200 homes don't have power. Listen to how powerful this moving water can be. The water physically moved some middle school classrooms between 50 and 100 feet. If you plan to travel in the flooded areas, you should know that officials say the strong currents are still very dangerous for cars. All it takes is 2 feet of water to sweep a car away. A murder case in the Ozarks was so bizarre it made headlines around the world.
And now we know what's going to happen next in the Stouty double murder case. We first told you about Diane and Rachel Stouty last month. Police say the Springfield mother and daughter confessed to killing 2 family members with antifreeze. Police say they connected the deaths after another family member was poisoned. Diane and Rachel appeared in a Greene County courtroom yesterday. Attorneys for both women waived their right to the preliminary hearing. Instead, they opted to go to the next phase of the court process.
A spokesperson from the Greene County Prosecutor's Office explains.
We would have presented evidence to establish probable cause, but with the waiver, it is an admission that there would be probable cause to proceed to trial.
Prosecutors say it's too early to know if the state will seek the death penalty. The women will be back in court again next week.
A truck that may be linked to an Arkansas jail escapee last seen in Dallas County has now been spotted in the Kansas City metro area. Police in Overland Park, Kansas say the stolen pickup was seen weaving through traffic Monday night. Derek Estelle's bold escape from a county jail in Arkansas was captured on a surveillance camera. He dove through a narrow window and bolted for a waiting car on July 28th. Investigators in Overland Park say the caller gave the vehicle's license plate number, which matched the vehicle reported stolen in Dallas County. Police couldn't catch up to the truck, though, and Estelle remains at large right now, along with his girlfriend, Tamara Upshaw.
More rain, and this time it's headed for Springfield, plus Pulaski County, and the places that are already flooded are getting hit again.
Lindsay's going to let us know how much rain will fall. Look at the radar right now, and she'll also tell us if we'll see any flooding in the city. It is 5:38. KSPR News this morning. We'll be right back.